Let's have some fun with this astrology for the week of August 19th to the 23rd. I would love to go with overall feels for the week first. So we kicked off this week with a full moon in Aquarius square Uranus. That's a big deal. That's revolutionary. It's moving us into the new. Another theme is that, yes, it's moving us into the new. However, we might not know what that is or what that means or how that's shaking out. It may not have manifested into our physical reality or even into thought yet, where we can cognize what the fuck just went on during last week's astrology and over the weekend, the astrology and that Monday full moon. So let's talk a little bit about this. I want to talk about that theme of it's coming in this week. We're going to be getting the insights. And a big reason for that is Mercury is retrograde. That's partially why this full moon showed up almost veiled. Showed up almost like, wait a second, we were expecting weird stuff to happen in the world. We were expecting weird stuff to happen in our lives. We were expecting hard conversations with our lovers. We were expecting, shock and awe and earthquakes and da-da-da. But here's the thing. My sense, you feel for you how this feels. My sense is that because Mercury is retrograde, and there's other planets that are retrograde at the moment, but Mercury is the mind. It's the mind. It's what we can cognize. It's what we can comprehend. And we're, of course, having this conversation through the filter of what we can comprehend. So Mercury, the mind, what we can comprehend, is in an underworld journey. So how we're perceiving things, how we're able to cognize and think about things is on a different level because Mercury, the psychopomp, is going into your shadow territory, your hidden territory, and is almost, he's messenger of the gods. So he's almost taking all of that energy, right? All of the energy that's going on, all of the, Jupiter and Mars and the square Saturn and then the big full moon and the Uranus energy. It's like, because Mercury's doing what Mercury's doing, it's like he's taken all of that as the messenger of the gods. This is what he does energetically. He's taken all of that and he's gone underground with it. So we're not seeing it in our lives because he's in the shadow realms. He's in the hidden realms. He's in the unconscious of the whole collective. And of course of ourselves. And so if we bring this back to ourselves and we go, okay, oh man, what the hell does this mean? We are doing some deep shadow work at the moment, some deep underground, unconscious, subconscious, shifting, altering, changing, awakening, enlivening, healing, alchemizing. It's happening. Some of us are really aware of it because we just have worked a lot in that territory, or we've brought a lot of consciousness, or we have a lot of tools working in the shadow territories, right? And some of us are more like, wow, I'm needing to sleep a lot, or I can't sleep at all, or my stomach is being weird and it's hard to digest stuff at the moment, or I'm having weird dreams, or I'm having weird old memories from childhood, or odd things are going on. So think about how it is that your subconscious, unconscious is working at the moment. That's that full moon. That's Monday, Tuesday. We're still really kind of in that. We're still really in this deep underworld excavation. Meditating in the deep realms is really powerful right now. Shamanic journeys into the underworld. Our shadow work workshop, really powerful. Our medicine woman workshop, really powerful. The dark goddess workshop, really powerful. They take you into those deep underworld, unconscious realms. Really powerful work. If you don't have a way of getting into the shadow, all those things are $47. Links are below if you want to dive into something, right? This whole week will still be a really good time to be excavating, to be diving into the underworld. Okay, so let's talk about why we want to dive into the underworld. Let's just talk about really quickly why, because this whole week is this Mercury retrograde, is this underworld. The other thing that I want to point out about why is this so shadowy? Why is this so hidden? And I think astrologers are missing this. Some are pointing at it. I mean, obviously I don't see everything out there, and maybe you've already heard of this, but I see a lot of things where this is being missed. This yod that Pluto and Neptune are making. So they are making a yod to everything that is moving into Virgo. Everything that hits that like 0 point, that 29 degrees Leo into 0 of Virgo, that yacht, it is there getting blasted by Pluto and Neptune. That's finger of God coming from Neptune, the great dissolver, dissolves the ego, and Pluto, the worker of the underworld. Everything that crosses over that line is getting blasted by them. Every single thing. And that's the outlet point. It's literally like Pluto is going deep transformation, lots of shadow work, underground. Neptune is going, he's a spiritual master, but he's going, let's dissolve the ego so we can bring about more of the soul, right? The descent. It's the descent for the ascent. It's the descent to enlighten the shadow, enlighten. It's bringing light into the dark, into the depths, bringing consciousness into the unconscious. That yacht is a big fucking deal. It's a big deal. And we have much more of that happening this week, right? So on Thursday, we have, hold on a second, Wednesday and Thursday, it's to the sun. That's the conscious part of self. We might actually be able to be a little more conscious of it. Sun is conscious part of self. So we might come Wednesday, Thursday. Remember I said Monday, Tuesday, it's still really not necessarily showing up in our physical world. We're like, what the fuck was this moon all about? Well, all this talk, what's going on? It's still veiled to us. But come Wednesday, Thursday, my sense, because of the sun, conscious self, what we can be aware of, along with Mercury having already joined the sun past the midway point of Mercury retrograde, now we get to get the insights. So this is a week of really making space to get the insights. Now it's switching on the mind, having those conversations, doing your reflective journaling, right? Journal prompts, reflective questions, really having, like I had an amazing conversation. My sense is it's already starting, right? It's starting and it's going to increase Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, powerful day for healing. I'll talk about that in a minute too. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to really create the space and to give the focus to what is it that is bubbling up from the depths of my being to now be seen, to now be spoken, to now come into the world. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Also because the sun is moving into Virgo, Earth Priestess. Sun moves into Virgo on Thursday. What does that mean? It's literally like bringing it into reality. So Earth Priestess, Virgo. Virgo is all about bringing it into, earthing it, grounding it. Let's make it manifest. Let's bring it into reality. These deep unconscious shifts that have taken place, this enlightening of the shadow. And again, you've still got time to do this if you're like, oh shit, I missed the shadow work. Oh my God, I missed the medicine woman work, the witch wound work. That's in medicine woman, by the way. I missed the dark goddess, like unconscious, like deep depths of healing. You still got time this week. You still got time. I would say go earlier in the week though, right? So that when we can start really getting these revelations, Thursday, Friday, perfect days for revelations, right? Perfect days for revelations. We can start getting these revelations. We've done some of the deep excavating. We've given ourselves the space to dive deep. And again, if you don't have a guided journey to do that, $47. Do shadow, do medicine woman, do dark goddess. Do all three of them, right? Or pick one, the one that sings to you the most, and do that. Really and truly, it opens up the doors to the unconscious. Why do we want to work in the unconscious? It doesn't just hold our wounds that are preventing us from things, or old karma, or our ancestral conditioning, right? It doesn't just hold past life memories and all the shit blocking us from our greatest, highest potentials in this life. It also holds the gifts and wisdom that we came into this world with that are still residing dormant. Let me say it one more time. The gifts and wisdom that we came into this lifetime with that are ready to awaken. They're ready to unfold, right? Like, I was a scientist back in the day. I had no idea that I could hold altered states of consciousness, not just for myself, but for others. I had no idea that I could bring in or open up to in my body and move energetic Shakti flavors through my system and then transmit them out so that it could touch the lives of another. I had no idea. That was something that was hidden in my shadow territory. It's hidden in my shadow territory. It was a wisdom. It was a gift, we could say, a spiritual gift, right? We could say like a witchy, medicine womany, priestessy skills. I had no fucking idea, right? I was a microbiologist and a chemist. This shit didn't exist to me. But started doing this work, those doors opened up, and it was like, whoa, wow, I should get some training on this because I don't know what this is. Really, truly, that's kind of my path in a real short and sweet way of saying that. But that's why shadow work is so powerful. It's why this unconscious territory is so powerful. It's why I'm talking about the shadow work workshop, the medicine woman workshop, the dark goddess workshop, because it's not just, let me go heal some stuff, right? Let me go, work my inner child, old unconscious patterns. Let me go, it's all of that for sure. The clearing of the karma, it's all of that for sure. But it's also, as we clear the karma, or as we let go of some of those blocks or those like trapped emotions or dense energies that we have in our ancestral line, it opens up to these potentials in us, these gifts, these potentials, this unique genius. To me, one way of describing this Mercury retrograde, which is what we're in right now. Remember, I said now is the time. Mercury has just met with the sun on Monday, that full moon. Of course, like it happens then, right? Right around then. It's Mercury has now shifted into the next phase of his underworld journey. This next phase is now he can bring the insights and the guidance for your path forward. He can bring it up to your mind. Again, remember, this is why this week is so powerful for journal prompts, for reflecting on things. Take a long walk and ask yourself questions and really feel into what is my greatest life. So what I was going to share around this particular Mercury retrograde, this journey, right, is that it's about our unique genius. So when we talk about the unconscious realms and opening up to these hidden gifts and these hidden capacities, this particular Mercury retrograde is all about you, me, us, collectively, us, opening up to more and more of our unique genius, more and more of our unique creative essence, more and more of our unique expression of self in this life. Because it's gone into Leo. It started in Virgo, went into Leo. Love that lineup, right? Virgo is then the Earth Priestess. Ends back at the Earth Priestess, right? Like, let's now ground it in. I know people talk about Virgo and they're like, by the way, we're moving into Virgo season. The sun moves into Virgo on Thursday. I want to reframe Virgo for a minute because Virgo gets a bad rap. It's like Virgo, detail-oriented, the mundane, health, daily routine, right? Like, can be very perfectionist and can be really judgmental. Virgo is the feminine earthing. So if we think feminine, we think goddess, we think Earth Priestess. What is the Earth Priestess? It's literally taking high voltage grace, right? High voltage grace. We can even think back to Lionsgate. If we want to like really line all this stuff up, you can think back to Lionsgate. That was a high voltage frequency. What happened? Lionsgate came around the 8/8, right? That whole week there, that first week of August, Lionsgate, big frequencies, massive high voltage energy, right? That all comes in, great. That all hits the shadow territory. Oh, here's what needs to be excavated so that, ready for this, Virgo, so that you can embody it. That's the Earth Priestess. Virgo wants us to embody it. She doesn't just want to go, ooh, there's some really high voltage grace up in the Sirius Lionsgate and I want to look at it and like stare at it and talk about it. That's really great. She wants to become it. But she doesn't just, Virgo's a sign of service. She doesn't just want to become it for herself. She wants to become it and share it to gift the world, right? She wants to become it, move it through her body, embodiment of it, and share it out into the world. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more nitty-gritty about this week. I know I just went like wild and crazy with the overall feels of this week. So let me just sum up overall feels of this week. Monday, Tuesday, we're still in that full moon Uranian energy. Let it happen. Monday and Tuesday, don't push for the insights. If they're coming, that's great. Monday and Tuesday, still really good. Wednesday, I would say also still really good for like deep meditation, still really, I mean, it's always a good time for deep meditations, right? It's always a good time for shadow work, but it's just like the door is wide, like more open. The veils are thinner. We're able to access parts of self that we normally couldn't go into. I know I got to work on a monstrous old pattern that I didn't know was there. I've done years and years and years and years and years of shadow work. Something I can maybe offer is it comes when it comes. There's a divine timing to working in the unconscious territory. It's like, and when it arises, it is the perfect time, the perfect moment. You are on this like divine timeline, and it's like, and now you are ready to see this old pattern that was a really good survival pattern. This could be coming up for a lot of us. Safety survival. What are your survival patterns from childhood that no longer serve? A survival pattern turned into a sabotage pattern. Here's one for a lot of us, because Pluto moving into Aquarius is going to bring this one up. Survival pattern of being fiercely independent is becoming a sabotage pattern of you can do more in partnership, in collaboration, in co-creating, but we have a survival pattern that is ferociously independent. Now, Pluto moving into Aquarius, this is happening finally. I mean, it's been dancing back and forth, right? Capricorn, Aquarius. And that'll happen at the end of this year. That's just one example, but that's a really great question. You could take that question into the shadow workshop. Yeah. Isn't that great? Like you can literally journey with the question into the shadow workshop. Again, links are below if that sings to you. And I totally respect if like journeying, rewilding way is not your style, like deep bow. But however it is that you're called to go, and that's a really good question to ask. Okay. So I'm still summarizing the big themes for the week. That's Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday, we kind of start to shift into this yod. So now it's this yod. Remember, it's the Pluto-Neptune yod. So it's their energy, finger of God. It's very fated. It's very destined. It's very powerful, pointing right at the sun, pointing right at conscious self. This is deep transformation. This is deep evolution. This is asking, right? Neptune dissolver, Pluto, deep, dark, God of the underworld, shadow territory, unconscious, but very evolutionary. It's them literally pointing at the conscious self and going, change, motherfucker. Like, change from the deep core place of you. Change. We want change. We want evolution. There's more to you. We are going to dissolve your ego, Neptune, and I'm going to bring up the depths of power in you and anything that needs to be released, reawoken, reclaimed, remembered, that brings you closer to who you are in your full empowerment. That's Pluto. Fun, right? Love it. So that's Wednesday. Thursday gets a little wild. So Thursday, the sun moves into Virgo, right? Sun moves into Virgo. So now we're kind of in Virgo season. We're moving into that Earth Priestess. We're moving out of fire, Leo, into Earth, Virgo, right? So now it's earthing. Let me earth this. Let me start to ground this in. Also remembering that Mercury is in a space where he can start to bring us insights and It's starting. Don't push for that too much or you'll push it away. It's just starting to give us some of the guidance forward, starting to give us some of the, this is what the fuck this was all about these last 2 weeks or this last week or these last couple of days or all of that like sick feeling you had or the non-sleeping feeling you had or that like weird crunchy feeling you had, the deep inner changes that were happening. Here's a little bit about what that was about, what it's for, and where it's leading you. Okay, so there's also some nodes of fate. I think we're kind of doing this overall theme and also going day by day at the same time. So whatever, you might have to like reverse, rewind, take some notes, go back to parts that interest you or you want to dive a little bit deeper into, or just re-listen because I know I'm talking really fast. I like talking fast in these though. For some reason, it's just like astrology just goes that way for me. So we have Jupiter square Saturn. That's just like Jupiter wants to expand, Saturn wants to contract. So if you're feeling like expand, contract, that's okay. If you lean into Saturn as Mr. Miyagi or Gandalf or wise old elder, instead of getting pissed off and feeling like you're a trapped animal, you're caged, you can't move, you look at him like, okay, he's telling me to wax on, wax off. He's sending me back to the drawing board. I'm actually in training for self-mastery. It will help a lot. There's always a lesson to be gained with Saturn. He wants you to have self-mastery so you can wield those gifts that are revealing themselves from Mercury being in the retrograde and all of that Leo kind of energy that we just talked about, unique potentials, unique geniuses. Speaking of this, I love this lineup. We have Vesta. Vesta is a really powerful aspect this week. She is a goddess. She is known as goddess of home and hearth. Okay, that's great. But that's a very surface level of Vesta. Goddess of home and hearth, of home and hearth. She's on another level. Feel into this and how this affects you and touches you. Vesta is keeper of the inner flame. Just feel into that. Her symbol is a V. She's a keeper of the inner flame, and you kind of imagine a V at the base of that, or a fire, a flame at the base of that circle, and then you imagine that in your body. That's Vesta. Your inner flame. Your inner flame, your passion for living this life at this time. That's Vesta. She's the keeper of the inner flame. If you think, or you go back into the myths around Vesta, it's the Vestal virgins. There's a priestess capacity to Vesta. Priestess, we heard that word earlier before, right? When we were talking about moving into Virgo. Virgo's the Earth Priestess. Vesta's like fire, inner flame, devotional priestess. What is it that you really came here to do? That's Vesta. Let me help you focus the V. Let me help you focus that. What is it that stokes that inner flame? What is it that fuels that inner flame? Where is it that inner flame points you toward? What are your deepest callings? What is it that's most fulfilling for you? Do you know how perfect this is? Do you know how perfect this is at this moment in time with all of the astrology lined up the way it is? Like, we just had the radical revolutionary Uranus on that full moon in Aquarius. Like, we just had that. Then we have this Mercury in retrograde, and now we have Vesta supporting this as the sun. So the sun and Vesta go conjunct on, what day is that? Tuesday. The sun and Vesta are conjunct. What does that mean? That means Vesta is going to hit that same yod, right? So the sun, conscious self, meets up with the priestess of the inner flame. Conscious self gets to see, right, what it is that really fuels us, what it is that is our deeper callings. Vesta is a soulful point, This is what will really light you up in this life, the fire, the inner flame. So that happens Tuesday. Then on Friday, so Wednesday, Thursday is when the sun moves into that yod. Vesta moves into that yod on Friday. I mean, it's all, like, we can't just go like this day, right? It's much bigger than that. It's over hours and hours and hours, and they're active. It's not like a peak this moment. But Vesta goes into that same yod with Pluto and Neptune. So it's really, again, then saying Neptune and Pluto going to dissolve any ego structures that do not support you in alignment with your inner flame. You in that devotional place of what it is that you came here to do. And then Pluto going, and here's the shadow work, the underworld unconscious stuff getting in the way. It's such a powerful, beautiful, little bit of a gentler week. My sense is that we'll feel a little bit of a gentler week than we did over the weekend, kind of Monday with that full moon. So let's round out the week and let's talk about Friday. Friday, we have Mars in a sextile to Chiron. Chiron is conjunct the moon, and there is someone else in the mix. Let me just look this up super quickly because I really like this aspect for healing. So it's Chiron, moon, where are you? Grand trine with Mars over to, oh my word, where am I at here? This is so funny that I just like literally cannot see. Mercury. Yep. Sorry. I knew. I'm like, no, this is bigger than what I'm like cognizing at the moment. So this Mercury retrograde journey, right? Mercury retrograde journey, this is like a bigger cycle. This has been happening for weeks and weeks and weeks. I did a whole Mercury retrograde deep dive. It's in our membership. If you haven't done that, that's something else you might want to journey into. We get that Lionsgate high frequency, right? Bring that into the depths, embody that. That's some big shadow work in there. Then we also have the hour and 20-minute Mercury retrograde deep dive, where it takes you into exactly what this Mercury retrograde is about. Like, it's an experiential journey into the underworld of the Mercury retrograde. So if you're a membership, you already have that. If you're not in membership, you can join us for a month for $59. You have a full access to everything in there. It's like 12 hours of stuff for an entire month. You'll have access to, we have a workshop happening on the 22nd. Yeah, we have a wisdom circle happening in membership on the 22nd. That's this Thursday. That's the big day where the sun goes into Virgo, Venus squares Mars. We didn't talk about that one yet. We got to talk about that. Mercury and the nodes of fate. This is all happening on Thursday. Anyways, teams getting together. I have this most amazing support team, Karen and Malia. Some of you know them. They hold the space. They take us into a meditation, and then it's a wisdom circle of just sharing a lot of wisdom. And then we have a live workshop happening on the 1st. My sense, I felt into this workshop happening in membership on the 1st. My sense is that it's going to have something to do with power. Empowerment, empowered from, almost like empowered from the Vestal flame within, right? Anyway, so that's happening on the 1st, whatever. If you join membership, you've got a full access for an entire month for $59. If you love it, stick around forever. It would be beautiful. Otherwise, if you just want to come in for a month, that's great too. Okay. Let's keep moving on. I want to talk a little bit more about this healing capacity with Chiron. So it's like a grand trine between Chiron, Mars, and Mercury. And to me, that's just this beautiful opportunity. Let me feel for a moment. Let's just say healing the masculine, evolving of our own masculine. We all have a masculine. Mars is the warrior in us. Chiron is the shamanic wounded healer in us. And there's this beautiful capacity in Mercury is considered to be a masculine archetypal energy, is the mind. So imagine we have this shaman who's like, let's do some healing. The moon's involved too. That's beautiful. I think that brings in another vibe. Is that it's like, let's evolve the mind. Let's evolve the warrior in us, the action-oriented, masculine leadership direction warrior. I will fight for this. Let's evolve this. Let's bring this up to the next level. Let's let go of some of our old belief patterns about masculine, our masculine, the masculine in the world. But it feels grace-filled because those aspects are positive, supportive aspects. It feels graceful. So it doesn't feel like deep shadow trudgery to evolve, puke out the toxins in our masculine. It doesn't feel like that. It feels much more like, grace. Okay, yes. Gentle. There's a gentle evolution, a gentle up-leveling of our own masculine happening on Friday. This will be interesting, and I'll end on this, is the Mars square Venus. That's still active on Friday, which I love. Mars square Venus is a tough aspect. Squares are tough. Venus, you remember that old book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus? Well, the main feminine lover aspect in us would be Venus. The main masculine lover aspect in us, also god of war, right? The warrior, is Mars. So we have the lovers, this archetypal couple, the lovers. They're kind of in a fight. They're in a fight. Something really beautiful that we could focus on Thursday is, all right, they're in a fight, but let this be a fight to help them come into greater harmony. Let this be a revelatory moment in time where they get to come into a deeper dance together. They get to understand each other more. So if you feel feminine flow, masculine direction, feminine life force, masculine consciousness, feminine infinite all of everything, masculine infinite all of nothing. Feminine is like the Shakti, masculine is like the Shiva. And you want to take these seemingly polar opposites and you want to just see, like, how do they dance? How do they support each other? How do they weave together? How does life force work with directional force? Can I get my masculine to be a little bit of a better leader to this enormous amount of love and life force that wants to go somewhere? especially with Vesta up in the mix, especially with that yod going at the sun and then at Vesta. Stunning, powerful, potent, wild, wonderful, beautiful. I'm trying to feel what I can share around that. If anyone's really super interested in that, I would check out Reunion. It's a masculine and feminine online program that we have. Start with the free Heart Warrior workshop though. That's kind of a doorway in. So we'll put a link to the Heart Warrior workshop. So if you're really feeling this Mars and Venus piece, that's something that can help you to work a little bit further. And again, it's a free workshop. Like that one, just go sign up. Even if you even if you're like, I don't know, it's a free workshop. So we'll put that below. I think it's like 40 minutes or something like that. But that's also a powerful workshop to work with for Chiron, right? So Chiron, remember, Chiron's really big. Mars is really big on Friday. Really powerful to do that Heart Warrior workshop. So I would do Shadow Workshop. This is what I would do if you were like super into rewilding. I would do Shadow Workshop, Medicine Woman Workshop, Dark Goddess. One of those three or all three, first part of the week. Thursday, I would go do Bones. I would go sit in that wisdom circle because it will be working in the energetics of the moment. Right, I would go sit in that wisdom circle, know that you have Lion's Gate in there, you have Mercury Retrograde, dive into those when you want to, when you can, right? Then we have a live circle coming up on the 1st. Remember, that's $59 for the month, blah, blah, whatever. And then Friday, I would do the free Heart Warrior workshop, right? Thursday, Friday, probably Friday, because I feel like there's more magic on Friday. So I would do the Heart Warrior workshop on Friday. And again, that one's free. The other things I've mentioned are either $47 or $59. So nothing crazy, nothing super like whatever. And again, always you feel for you, trust what serves you, trust where you're called, right? And whatever that is, like just super massive love and support for that. This is a big fucking moment in time. August is wild. It's wonderful. I feel like I know for myself personally, I'm cracking through some shit that I never imagined that I would be cracking through. Like relationship stuff, deep old independent patterns. Remember how I like shared the independent patterns? Yeah, I can raise my hand to that one. Right? I got ferocious independence like a mofo, right? It was like black sheep of the family, lone wolf. Like I got that shit down pat. But there is an enormous power and an enormous potential in partnership, in collaboration, I spoke about this in a podcast. It's not out yet. It's on someone else's podcast. But if you're on our newsletter, we'll let you know about that. But kind of like feels around this Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is, of course, a longer term, bigger cycle that's happening. But okay, this has gotten really long, kind of out of hand for a freaking week of astrology. But it's such a powerful moment in time. And really, if there's anything that I can share with you, it's listen to that still small voice within. What do you need this week? What's really going to serve? And that voice should be getting a little more clear, maybe a little bit louder as the week goes on. Once we get out of this intense energetics and Mercury has gone past the sun, right? And is now in his next phase of the retrograde, we'll be able to hear that still small voice within, that intuitive wisdom within, and just trust it, follow it, listen, right? Like ride that line so close this week, because to me, the potentials that are on offer this week when we ride that line are bigger than normal. Just given like this perfect storm that's happening at the moment. All right. Huge love to you. Would love to see you in all the places that you're called to. All right. I will talk to you when I see you, where I see you, and how I see you. So much love to you.